Unfolding Bloom. Chapter 1. The Seed of a Dream. Elara wiped sweat from her brow. Dust coated her worn shoes. She stood before the crumbling town hall of Pebble Creek. A faded notice fluttered on the board. Community Beautification Project. Volunteer gardeners wanted. Elara traced the words. Her heart beat faster. Plants. Green things. Life. Her tiny room had one window. A single stubborn weed grew in its crack. She loved that weed. Nurtured it. Imagined a whole garden. But here, Pebble Creek was gray stone and tired faces. Work was scarce. Her father, Thomas, coughed in the next room. His mining accident left him weak. Her mother, Lena, sewed late into the night. Elara carried water from the well, helped neighbors, dreamed in silence. Could I? She thought, staring at the notice. Just a small patch of green. Fear whispered. You, nothing. Who are you to grow beauty? She took a deep breath. Pebble Creek needed hope. Maybe she did too. She carefully noted the meeting time. A tiny seed of courage settled in her chest. Chapter 2. Small hands. Heavy heart. The community hall smelled of damp and old wood. Mrs. Gable, the project leader, eyed Elara skeptically. Gardening is hard work, child. Dirty, requires patience. Elara straightened. I know hard work, ma'am. I can learn patience. Others murmured. Mostly older folks. Elara felt small. They think I'm just a kid. She offered to clear rubble from the chosen plot. It was a neglected corner near the old mill, full of broken bricks and weeds. She worked silently. Blisters formed on her palms. Mrs. Gable watched. Finally, she nodded. Start by pulling those thistles, roots deep. Elara dug her fingers into the dry earth. It felt rough, unyielding, like Pebble Creek itself. Be like the roots, she told herself. Dig deep down. She pulled the first stubborn weed. Its roots were surprisingly long. A small victory. She placed it carefully in the rubbish pile. One weed down. 1,000 to go. But she had started. Chapter 3. The First Frost. Months passed. Elara's patch slowly cleared. She saved precious coins. Bought a single packet of sunflower seeds. Big blooms, the shopkeeper said. Needs strong sun. Pebble Creek had little sun. Gray clouds were constant companions. Elara planted them anyway. Dug small holes with a spoon. Covered them gently. Watered them with rainwater she collected. She whispered encouragement. Every day she checked. Nothing. Weeks went by. Still bare earth. Doubt crept in. Stupid. Wasted money. Nothing grows here. One morning, frost painted the ground silver. Elara ran to her plot. Her heart sank. The fragile shoots, just peeking through, were limp, browned out teeth, killed by the cold. Tears stung her eyes. She sat on the cold ground. Failure. It tasted bitter. Mrs. Gable found her there. Frost always wins the first round, she said softly. Not unkindly. It's not the end. It's a lesson. She handed Elara a tattered book. Learn. Try again. Spring comes. Elara wiped her tears. The book showed hardy plants. Ones that laughed at frost. Okay, she thought, clutching the book. Learn. Try again. Chapter 4. Whispering Weeds and Wishes. Spring did return. Elara studied the book. She found tough, native plants. Wild flowers that thrived in poor soil. She collected seeds from roadsides. Asked neighbors for cuttings of hardy herbs. No fancy flowers. Just survivors. Mint. Diet. Thyme. Tough little daisies. She learned about composting kitchen scraps. Made a small pile behind the mill. It smelled awful sometimes, but it fed the earth. Slowly, green appeared. Not showy, but alive. Mrs. Gable started assigning her small tasks. Watering other plots. Weeding communal rows. People noticed her quiet dedication. Old Man Hemlock, who rarely spoke, gave her a gnarled rosemary cutting. "Stubborn thing," he grunted. "Like you." Elara treasured it. The garden became her refuge. When her father coughed harder, when money was tightest, she'd sit among the mint and thyme, listen to the bees finding the small blooms. Small things matter, she realized. Even weeds have purpose. The patch wasn't grand, but it was green. It was hers. Hope, she discovered, grew slowly, like a weed pushing through stone. Chapter 5. The Crushing Rain. 3 years passed. Elara was 16. The community garden thrived. Her corner was a tapestry of green and small flowers. She knew every plant. Became Mrs. Gable's right hand. People visited just to breathe the green air. Elara dreamed bigger. A small nursery? Selling plants to neighboring towns? She sketched plans, saved every coin. Then came the storm. Not just rain, a deluge. The river burst its banks. Muddy water surged through Pebble Creek. It swallowed the lower town, including the garden. Elara stood on higher ground, watched the horror. The water rose, covered her beloved plants. The rosemary bush, the mint patch, all gone, washed away in brown sludge. The garden she'd built for years vanished overnight. People cried over ruined homes. Elara felt numb, empty. Her dream felt washed away too. Why fight? Despair screamed. Nature wins. Life is just loss. She turned away, couldn't look at the mud-covered ruin. The effort of years, gone. Yes. Chapter 6. Roots in the rubble. Days later, the water receded, leaving thick, stinking mud. Despair hung heavy in Pebble Creek. Elara avoided the garden site. The loss hurt too much. Helping neighbors clean their homes was easier. Less personal pain. One afternoon, clearing debris from Old Man Hemlock's shed, she saw it. A tiny green shoot, pushing through a crack in the mud-caked floor. Unbelievably, it was rosemary, a survivor. From her original cutting, hope, sharp and sudden, pierced her gloom. If it can, she ran to the garden. The mud was thick, Wandida, awful, but she started digging, not planting, just searching. Hours passed, blisters reopened, mud caked her arms. Then she found another, a clump of thyme, battered but alive. Then mint roots, tough daisies, survivors, buried but not beaten. Tears mixed with mud on her face. They didn't give up. She gathered the survivors carefully, took them home, nursed them in salvaged pots by her window. The garden was gone, but the roots remained, and so did she. Chapter 7. Rising from the mud. Rebuilding the garden became Pebble Creek's symbol. Elara led the effort. Not just her patch, the whole space. People joined her, shoveling mud, hauling away debris, donating seeds and tools. Neighboring towns sent supplies. Elara shared her knowledge, taught others about hardy plants, resilient roots, the power of compost. She used the mud, enriched it, made the soil better than before. This time, the garden wasn't just hers. It belonged to everyone. They planted trees for shade, built raised beds against future floods, created winding paths with salvaged stone. Elara's dream of a nursery seemed impossible again. Funds were for rebuilding homes. But she kept her rescued plants alive, grew more from cuttings, sold small pots of mint and thyme at the weekly market. Coins trickled in. Slowly, small steps, she reminded herself. Like planting seeds. She saved, learned about business from library books. Her hands, once soft, were now strong, earth-stained. Tools of Creation. Chapter 8. The Unfolding Bloom. 5 years after the flood, Elara stood before her own small shop, the Unfolding Bloom Nursery. built on the edge of the thriving community garden. Sunlight streamed through the windows. Shelves held plants she nurtured. Her specialty? Resilient beauties. Plants that thrived against odds. Like Pebble Creek. Like her, people came from miles around. Not just for plants, for hope. Elara shared her story. The dead sunflowers. The crushing flood. The tiny rosemary shoot. She spoke of patience, consistency, learning from failure. A seed doesn't see the flower, she'd say. It just pushes towards the light every day. Her father sat in the sunny corner, healthier now. Her mother sewed cushions from garden-themed fabric. The gray town had splashes of vibrant color. Window boxes Elara helped plant. Green spaces on once barren lots. Life had bloomed from stubbornness, from small, daily acts of faith. Chapter 9. Petals on the Wind. Elara walked through the garden at dusk. Bees drowsed on lavender. The scent of rosemary filled the air. She touched the leaves of the original survivor plant, now large and strong. She remembered the girl afraid to pull a weed, full of self-doubt. Life wasn't easy. Challenges still came, but she knew her strength now. It wasn't loud. It was the quiet strength of roots, of showing up, trying again, learning. She looked at Pebble Creek. Lights twinkled in windows. Laughter drifted from a cafe near the garden. It wasn't a rich town, but it was alive, hopeful. Her journey was Pebble Creek's journey, proof that even the smallest seed in the hardest ground can grow. With time, with care, with never giving up. The greatest change, she knew, started within. A single decision to try, to believe in the unseen bloom. She smiled. The setting sun painted the sky in gold and pink, like petals unfolding. Tomorrow, more seeds to plant, more dreams to nurture, one small effort at a time.